Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Dr. Com and welcome back after a 2-week break here to Project 2100. This is the 10th episode and oh boy, we have so many topics to talk about. First of all, what is here in the footage? The footage is me finally doing an expansion of the city. I wanted to do this in a couple of days now. Not just a couple of days, but a couple of videos now to move on from the downtown and get into a more, let's say, intriguing part of town. I will try to build a large area for pedestrian-only areas where you can walk freely without the need of any pedestrian crossings on big roads or something. And also to integrate a little bit more sufficient tram network that we already have in the city from the western main station. While here we're building the eastern main station. You can this part of my three-part main station plan, if you know what I mean. No, you don't, because I haven't explained it by now. The three-part train station system that I try to put in this city, it does not rely on one central hub for transportation, but rather than three central hubs, including three big train stations. All three train stations are not that big on their own, but they are big. All three combined are big. They will feature some of at least 12 tracks, or let's say 24 platforms, or maybe even more. Let's see what I decide to do with the third train station. But basically, all those train stations are connected to the metro. I can't really say it's an underground metro because it's above ground, basically, most of the time. Yeah, you've seen placing me down that. And here are the connections to the other two train stations. The upper one for that one that we already built, and the lower one here, in the respective on the picture. And the lower one is for the third train station, which I will get to in episode 30 or something. I don't know how long it will take to finish the districts that I've planned in mind. Now talking about the districts, as I said, tram networks, and I went I had a picture in mind. I couldn't really define it. Then I built it, and actually my mom came in then, and I showed it to her, and she said it looks Roman, and this is actually true. It has some very Roman-looking parts to it, but more of that later. Now, another thing that I have to talk about is the absence of videos for the last 2 weeks. I'm very sorry. I had a very weird bug in CS, City Skylines, where the props, all the props and trees were flickering, and if you zoom in on them, they will disappear. Well, at least the trees would disappear, and the props would start flickering even more. I eventually fixed it by deleting some assets that I just had downloaded. I'm not sure which one it was. That's a bit of a problem because I don't know which asset to avoid right now, but at least the game works. And here you see me plopping down the tram networks. I didn't really go for a too sophisticated tram network with huge maps and such. I just went for some circles, for some tram circles where the tram will do some basic forms, easy to comprehend, and if you look on a map it should be pretty easy to understand. That's at least my hope. It is not finished by now because the tram network will span it will go through several districts that I will build in the next couple of episodes. By the way, there is a live part after this time lapse, a small one where I will decorate it. Basically, I don't really know what will happen in that live part because I haven't recorded it. I'm recording it chronologically, as you can say. Here, anyway, I use the how are they called? Pedestrian paths, so from network extension from the old one, from the old mod, not from the new one. I haven't got that one yet. Maybe I will update it for the next time, but we will see. So, yeah, I wanted to go for very big boulevards, at least some of them featuring the tram station, the tram tracks better, and also that central boulevard that is indicated by those two roads. I will decorate them later in the time lapse. And now a topic that was so much discussion on in the last 2 weeks or 1.5 weeks. It is, of course, the new DLC. I would say I'm quite rather excited about the DLC. If you have not catched up on that, it is called Mass Transit, and apparently there should be new transit options added. I don't have the post here, not the changelog. It's not here right now. I don't have the post here, but it's featuring monorails, blimps, cable cars, ferries, and some other features. But basically those 4 new types of transportation. Blimps, I don't really care about blimps. They are basically useless for inner city transportation. They are just, maybe I could implement them as tourist attractions, you know, like hot air balloons nowadays, or some blimps. They are not really used that much, to be honest. Not even for transportation. If they are used for entertainment. Then the monorail, I'm also not really too fussed about it. Yeah, don't get me wrong, I like monorails, but they have some obvious how do you call it? Anyway, they are not too good in respective to their cousins, the tram and the metro. The monorail is a bit of an awkward story. It looks great, and it is featured in so many future-themed things, like movies or TV shows or something, or games even. But they don't really serve a use in public transport. I don't know which city it is, but I think it's somewhere in Australia, Perth or Sydney, I don't know. But one of those cities has had a monorail network, but they have taken it down because it was too bad. Basically, the problem with monorails is that they don't really provide any benefits. They are expensive. They are complicated to maintain or to build, and they are almost always overground, so you always need structures around it, and you can't put it on the floor because the train, if you don't know how a monorail works, it does not sit on a rail like a normal tram or a metro does. It wraps around the rail to not fall off it, because there's just one rail, you know. So it wraps around, so you can't put the rail directly on the floor. That's a bit of a problem, because for the most part, putting rails on the floor is the easiest way of putting rails down. It is the most cheap way. Also, they don't provide any benefits for the public transport. Then a tram or a metro would not deliver by itself. So then moving on from that monorail bashing into the ferries. I'm quite excited about those one, because if you have seen my previous videos, there's that big lagoon, and I firstly just wanted to get in some bridges for people to walk. But now with the ferries, I can actually make some ferry lines through that island paradise. But the fourth option is that I'm most excited about is the cable car, actually, because it is a pretty new way of transporting people in a city. I know it exists on mountains for half a century or more, or at least I think the first ski lift was built before 1900. I'm not too sure. So basically the cable car is something I'm really looking forward to it, because it is very cheap and it can transport a lot of people. For example, that rail that I have here, that metro, I've looked it up, and the train I use can carry 240 people. So now if you put in like let's say 10 trains per hour, which is pretty much the standard, that's one train every 6 minutes. That's standard for inner city transportation. Maybe 5 minutes or 3 minutes, but if you look at 6 minutes for 240 people, that makes 2,400 people an hour, which this train can transport. And if you have a cable car with a small gondola, for example, 6 people in it, that's a normal smaller cable car that you find in ski resorts, for example. It is much slower. That's okay, but it carries more people. It can carry around 3,000 people per hour, which is a bit more than a metro. And also you don't have to put in that much infrastructure. You have the cable cars and the stations and some pillars. That's it basically. So I'm really looking forward to it. Also, you don't need too much space, because you can, for example, this plaza that I'm currently decorating with those new tiles, you could basically run a cable car through the middle of that plaza and still use it as a plaza, because those pillars are small. The cable car is up in the air, so that's a big plus. I'm really looking forward to it, and I want to implement it in my city in some way, but it apparently won't come out too soon. It will take a couple of weeks, as far as I can tell from the Paradox forums. They have, in a Colossal Order word of the week, they have written it down that they will make bi-weekly progress updates. With bi-weekly they mean once every 2 weeks, until the DLC comes out. So I suspect it will come out in 1 month, 1.5 months or something. Another thing that can happen with the new DLCs, of course, something that I don't really like, it is when the game breaks. So I hope it doesn't break, because that would be pretty shit. Sorry for my words. But yeah, that's it. So now enough about the mass transit DLC. If you have any more questions or something else you want to add, or disagree with me, or if you want to defend the monorail, then you can do this in the comments. I highly encourage you. I really like the response I got from you for this series so far, by the way. I don't think I have mentioned it now, but I think the first part of this series has something about 40,000 views, which is pretty nice. I really like that. It seems like there is a demand for from people for videos about with thoughts about urban planning and modern design and something. So thank you very much for doing this and for watching my videos. Thank you. Also, something new that has changed is if you go right now, if you go to the video settings on the bottom right of your YouTube interface on the cogwheel, there will be a new option which is 1440p. I'm not 60 FPS, but I'm working on it. 60 FPS is actually quite a bit more than 1440p is an upgrade to 1080p, because 60 FPS is basically double the size and double the frame rate. I'm recording the raw footage here with 5 FPS and I speed it up 8 times, so I get 40 FPS, which I can downgrade to 30. If I had to make 60 FPS videos, I would have to record the footage in 10 FPS, and then I would get too many files. No, not too many files, but too large files. I think all the files together from this video are something about I think 6 gigabytes of raw footage, which is quite much. Well, it's 6 gigabytes raw footage without the live part, which will come out, which will be coming after this in a couple of minutes. Well, the reason for the new upgrade on to 1440p is my new computer that I've assembled last Thursday. I'm really, how much should I say? I really like it. I really like my new computer. If you're into tech stuff, it features new AMD Ryzen 1700X processor, which is very important for video editing. It is a very powerful processor for just the price of 450 euros. It also features 32 gigabytes of RAM, and it features 1070 GTX 1070 from Nvidia. No, not from Nvidia, from acces. If you could ask why not a 1080, because if you have a Ryzen X, then why don't you have a 1080? The problem is money, and also that I don't really need it, because this game works just fine on my 4K monitor. Graphics are important in video games and not in video rendering, that I'm doing right now, and is the most tedious part, or the most important part, or the thing that needs the most computing power. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. So I went for a better processor rather than a better graphics card, because I don't have infinite amounts of money, you know. I could have gotten an i7 and a 1080, well, an i7 4950, which is a very good processor, or a 6600, but to afford a 1080, but I would have lost so much computing power, you know. I've 8 cores and 16 threads right now to compute this video here. I can watch it right now in full HD quality while I'm recording this, so you can see it is quite powerful, the PC. But now this is not a PC vlog or PC blog, but rather back to the video. So we're here finishing off the Plaza, and now we'll jump into the live footage where we will decorate a bit. So I see you there in just a moment. Man, wouldn't the city look nice if it is finished from this camera perspective, with the whole city, or the potential, or the whole city potential, a new word here, in this image. I can quickly explain to you what I want to do in the next couple of episodes. You see, I've built this district over here. Yeah, you know what? You already know this. You know, you do, because you have watched all my videos. They are all in the playlist on my channel. Go watch them. right now. Right now, pause the video and watch it. And right as I say, right as I start my recording, my CPU fans fire up to 100%. I hope that's not too loud. If it is too loud, I try to get in noise filtering from my video program, but I don't think it is because of how my microphone is situated. But now it's firing up. I can feel the vibrations on my table. But yeah, back to what I've built here. Here is the eastern main station, and why eastern? Because if you go on this map, okay, this map doesn't work. But if you would go on CSL map view, for example, yeah, the most zoomed out does not really work. So that's a bit of a problem. But if you go to CSL map view, this is the rotation that is laid out. Yeah, I know there's some problems over there. Don't look at it. So the map is right that. So obviously this is the western part and this is the eastern part, and here the southern part of the city with the western station, the eastern station, and the southern station in the future. So back to this here. As you can see, there are some this is a big area of land for pedestrians. Basically this whole block here, maybe even across the road here. So this block here should be reserved for pedestrians, and yeah, that's something very nice. Here will be some hotels and resorts right here at the lagoon. And yeah, here the new fire station that is on the workshop. It looks really nice. I love this so I put it out here to showcase it a bit. And here are the trams that I've talked about. I populated the rails with 2 tram lines, basically, as this is basically a loop, one in each direction. So yeah, I really like how it looks right now, but we will decorate this in the future episodes. And then when we enter this part, the frame rate drops to 20 FPS, but that's okay. I'm used to 8 to 5 FPS from my older computer, and this is my largest city so far, so I'm quite impressed with how my computer is going on right now. Also, there's the video editing program in the back. It is not doing anything, but it still consumes processing power for some reason. So this is the main street right now. It looks actually quite nice, with big shopping centers and also some smaller buildings in there. I replicated this from Dublin, from how is it called, George Street? I think it's George Street. I was there in autumn or in fall. So there are some small buildings like these ones here, or I can go down to street level here to show it to you. Yeah, it is quite dark here. Hey, that's a pedestrian zone. There are some small buildings like these ones, and then there are big buildings like that one. Actually, the asset for this, the inspiration for this supermarket, Karstadt. I think the original of this is located in a city near where I live, in Constance, in Germany. So that's quite nice. Maybe it's not the one in Constance, but I know the brand from Constance. Anyway, so we have some big buildings here and also here, and then some smaller buildings, boutiques and coffee shops and things, and then some bigger malls behind that. So maybe you can enter the Dillards from one of those buildings, you know, or multiple entrances here. Also here a community center Is it the community? No, it's an event hall. The community center is the other one. An event hall for events, basically theaters, musicals, orchestras, esports event. No, that's too small. Then here we have the station. It gets quite a lot of use, and here we have some tourists going to some hotels. No, that's not a hotel. It should be a hotel, you know. It looks like a hotel, and I think it's also called a hotel. The Horizon Residences. No, it's not a hotel, but the Marriott is a hotel, and the Hampton Inn is a hotel. Basically, yeah, that's it. So now I wanted to do some decorations initially, before I drifted away. I want to decorate this main street just a bit, so please get in some light. So where could we start? Now you can look into how my brain works. Here we have a theater. I would like to get in a place for a coffee shop. Maybe one of those buildings, but that it's not too much space in there. So let's do a coffee shop right here. It looks pretty nice here from the Globits. It's called Globus. Globus Shopping Center. This is a prop from Zurich, where I live. It's not Globits, it's called Globus. So yeah, Globus. Now I don't want to search through everything. Let's go for some tables. I know there's quite a nice one. Yeah, I'm using the old mod, so blame me. I think it's that one. Put on Anarchy. Oh, it's actually that one. I've used it before. Yeah, I wanted to go for that one, but I think this coffee table set looks a bit better in my opinion. I wanted to go for the other one. But I came across this. I've used it before, not in this city. I've downloaded it a couple of days ago. So now let's just plop some of them down here. Nah, that's probably enough. Well, now we can use move it. Let's get them down, or a bit closer to the building, away from the street, or from the boulevard. And here now I'm going for a pretty European thing, which is well, not just European, but I think in the US you can find it too, but because of how the downtown is, how downtowns are built there in the US. No, don't go for a fence. How downtown are built there. There is not too much of those spaces that I'm referring to. It's basically a coffee or a restaurant separated by. Please get in that, and also disable error checking. In Europe, many restaurants are separated from the street by a fence, because streets are quite small in Europe, or often quite small. And then let's get in some entrances. Let me do that with move it to not accidentally delete the decals under it. So now, like that, cram everything together a bit. As I'm talking here, I see that I'm working much slower than in time lapses, because I'm speaking and also doing some hand gestures that you obviously don't see, but yeah, that's me. Now some parasols, because that's pretty much all day exposed. Let's go for that one, because it is very big. And just do a couple of them. And now do we have some planter? No, not to the power of planter. Can I please delete it? So, here we go. We just have... Oh no, we have those. They're big... Oh! These are actually perfect. Perfect planters. I think they're from the Jokes. No, I don't know from where. I thought it was from the Jokes apartment set. Let's just get some of those in, like that. So. Beautiful. And that's it. Basically, now we can move on. And that's how we just create a small point of interest. You don't need to do too much. In real life, obviously, there would be much more, many more of those places that I've just made than in City Skylines. But I think just doing a few of those makes a nice compromise between. Holy shit! What's happening here? Makes a nice compromise between effort and realism. And cluttering, you know, if you put down one of those every few meters, you will get too many things to look at. So the single thing will be less interesting. So now let's leave that. Why are there so many dead people? And I know why, because the nearest crematorium is over there. So let's just get in some dirty works, some dirty crematoriums. How they were there. Small trick: if you have a road, if you have anarchy enabled, which is the burning chirpy, you can just get some of those. You can get about 8 of those in one place, and you won't see anything. Do you see 8 crematoriums here? Maybe from that tree, which is quite a bit odd because it is in different heights. But I think this should solve the issue. There are so many problems here. A big problem here is that there are not enough goods to sell. I want to cover it. Next episode will be this part of the city, and after that I will make a harbor, which is here. So yeah, that's something you could look forward to if you like harbors. Like me, I like big infrastructure, so I like harbors. And I will try to integrate the tram into the harbor. Also, and some canals to connect those two water masses up. I don't think there's a line. No, there is no shipping line over there, but there are quite a few over here. No clue why there are quite a few over here, but no one here. So I think I can get a mod to get in some new shipping lines. But basically that's it. Holy shit! Now yeah, I'm experiencing a death wave, so I have to let you go to fix this issue. Why are there dead people in the park generators? I don't know. So I have to fix this issue. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.